Some journeys we do are on a really strict time schedule. They're about getting from A to B without taking much time to really enjoy your surroundings. But this journey is going to be all about letting the road set the pace. And the car we're going to do it in? Well, we're going to do it in the Volvo XC90. We're not going to do it to test it or review it. No, I'm letting the Drive Car of the Year judges do that for me. But instead, I'm going to see how this car fits into our journey. Because the best cars, after all, don't shout for attention. They're just there to make life easier. Now, it's the end of summer here, the days are long and warm, the rush of Christmas is behind us, and everyone's gone back to a slightly more relaxed pace of life. So I'm taking this opportunity to do a road trip that's going to be all about the detours, the conversations, the moments I didn't expect, rather than the destination itself. I'm starting off here in Cessnock, the gateway of the Hunter region, an area that's known for rolling hills and rich agriculture and a slightly slower pace of life. After a couple of days in the Hunter Valley, we're heading along to Windsor, along the Putty Road, a stretch that really reminds you that driving can be part of the experience rather than just the task to get you to your destination. This has just been a really, really pleasant journey. Whoa. As promised, I'm going to let the Gran Turismo stretch its legs. Now, this particular XC90 plug-in hybrid comes with 77 kilometres of purely electric power. Now, I did some quick maths in my head, worked out that I could do my entire commute to and from work entirely on electric power. Hypothetically, what I could do is charge my car every evening and do the 5 days of commuting entirely in electric power. That means I'm only having to rely on fuel at the weekend. Now, of course, what that then means is that I'm having to refuel less often, and that's better for the environment and better for my bank balance. Perfect result. Well, not too shabby, is it? Built in the 1960s across 50 hectares of rolling hills and offset with the dramatic Brokeback Ranges in the background, I can think of worse places to spend an afternoon in the late summer months. Leogate is undeniably grand, but it's understated in its luxury too. The crew and I receive a warm welcome from Tracy, Hospitality and Accommodation Manager, and her team. Tracy, thank you so much for joining me. Can you tell me a little bit about the history of Leogate Estate?
So Leogate Estate, Bill and Vicky Whitten, the owners, purchased the property in 2008, and then the final opening was in 2012. Originally it was the cellar door, the restaurant, and since then we've got the 20 villas and then the 4-bedroom cottage as well.
Right, so it started without the accommodation
That's
attached
correct.
to it. So what encouraged everyone to branch out into accommodation?
So with our guests, mainly it was tourists coming from across the world. They would just look at the view and it's like next to none. It is absolutely stunning.
It's
the
not a bad
building
view.
was designed to capture the sweeping views of the vineyard and the Broken Back Range, and just hearing how people didn't want to leave in a hurry, just enjoying their time.
Yeah.
We did originally have the 4-bedroom house, and that was high demand, so we thought, why not expand?
Bill Whitten and his wife Vicky have owned Leogate Estate now since 2008, nearly 20 years. With those kind of innings, that has to be more than just luck, so I wanted to catch up with Bill, pick his brains, and soak up a bit more of his business acumen.
What is your own history of the place? We heard from Tracy, but what's your story?
We were cattle farmers from Tamworth. We'd been there more than 30 years. I always had a desire to own a vineyard. Our first vintage was 2008.
Right.
So now we've had 16 years. Yes.
The question I have here, you went from cattle to grapes.
Yes. Yeah.
Are there similarities?
Oh, yes. Well, the grapevines are living things, and being living things, they die. Right. And so every now and then you have to replace vines simply because you keep them going.
Of course.
You can do the same renewal process of a vine, by inserting another style of grape within the trunk, and you can grow, like out of that trunk, you can grow an entirely different varietal of grape. And so that has the effect of renewing the vine and renewing a section of the vineyard.
Thank you so much for your time today,
Okay.
Bill. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
I'm delighted you called by.
Thank you. Let's take a moment for the seats in this car. Seats, I know, doesn't sound particularly exciting, but I've got to talk about them. They're ergonomic, which means that they really are designed for absolute comfort. It means that on long journeys like this one, you're really not getting any neck or back or shoulder pain. There's extra cushioning, and in the Ultra trim, you can even opt for a massage function, which is rather lovely. Like being at the spa rather than on a 3-hour road trip. Sign me up for more. This cabin really is the cabin that keeps on giving. I'm not sure, if you press me, that I could tell you my favourite part. Is it the ambient lighting, for example? Is it the panoramic sunroof? Because I do love that. Or, on a more practical level, is it all the exceptional storage space that I've got? I don't think I could pick a favourite. All I know is that the XC90 really is designed to make families' lives easier.
When most people think of the Hunter Valley, they think of wine. Glasses clinking, cellar doors, long lunches. And yes, all of that exists here. But this region is also a serious agricultural powerhouse. The soil, the climate, the landscape, it's perfect for growing just about everything. And for some producers, that opportunity has shaped their entire philosophy.
Ollie, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule. Can you just tell me a bit about the history of Margan's?
Yeah, my pleasure. So Margan is actually celebrating its 30 years this year. Established by Mum and Dad in 1996. They bought this property in the late 80s and planted some vineyards and then built a winery, established a wine brand. 10 years later, set up what is now our restaurant and cellar door. Family owned, operated, we do everything here on site. So all of our wines are made from grapevines that we farm ourselves. And most of the food we serve in the restaurant is from ingredients we've farmed or reared ourselves as well.
Right, and I know, like, nowadays, that sort of concept of paddock to plate has become quite trendy, right? But your parents were kind of pioneers in it over here, weren't they? How did that concept come about for them?
Yeah, so they both lived and worked in Bordeaux in France in the late 80s, early 90s. That's where I was sort of born.
Oh, cool.
And Mum was cooking as a private chef in the chateau, looking after me, and Dad was making wine. And it was the first time that she had really been exposed to this hyper-seasonality. You know, you'd go to the markets on the Saturday and you'd get your ingredients, and that was what you would cook from for the week. And the way that those ingredients lined up with the styles of wines that are being produced was this, I guess, a sort of epiphany moment for both of them. And when this was established, it was always the plan to I guess, create a sense of that here. Broke is a little bit further out than a lot of even the main parts of this region. So it was always difficult to get deliveries and ingredients. So given that we were set up as a functional farm anyway, to add the produce side to it, and only working with ingredients and grape varieties that we could produce here in Broke, and that being the sort of, I guess, the guiding light for the things that we serve in our restaurant and the wines that we produce has always been, the crux of our story.
Now, I know that beauty is only skin deep, But I have to admit, I do get a sense of satisfaction out of knowing how good this car looks. It's glossy, it's sporty, it's everything I want to project myself as, actually. And I really like knowing that people's heads are turned when they see my wheels.
Traditionally, a novated lease was a perk only big corporations could offer. But Ollie's changed the game by making novated leasing available to more Australians, no matter how small the business they work for. A novated lease lets you bundle your car payments and most running costs into one regular payment that's automatically taken from your pay. Plus, thanks to the Ollie app, you can manage your novated lease anywhere, anytime. So to find out more about Ollie and novated leasing, visit ollie.com.au.
There's not a lot worse when you're about to head out on a really long road trip and you just don't feel good about it because you don't feel comfortable in your car. I've obviously waxed lyrical about the Volvo XC90 in terms of its good looks, in terms of its comfort inside the car and its safety, which is all super, super important. But the other thing to consider is actually just simply how it drives. Now, I've obviously taken it on a combination of city roads and more regional areas, and it's handled itself really nicely. It's really well equipped and it's really supportive. I feel nicely cocooned in this car, like it can really handle almost anything. And look, as a Sydney-sider, I've come across a fair few potholes, both in the city and in the more regional areas of New South Wales, and this car has handled every single pothole like a champ.
Wine may be the headline act in the Hunter Valley, but it's not the only craft being perfected here. Hidden amongst the vineyards are a handful of small distilleries quietly building reputations of their own. One of them is Cowell Distillery, and I am deeply impressed by the owner, Louise, who is single-handedly building this distillery from the ground up. But what Louise demonstrates to me is just how important the community is to each other around here.
Louise, thank you so much for taking time out. We're in some very comfy rocking chairs here, so...
this is the way we travel here.
Thanks for letting me come and just sit for a bit. It's lovely. Can you tell me a little bit more about Cowell Rock Distillery?
Cowell Rock, the area, or the actual property I bought 10 years ago. It just had a vineyard on it. It's a 500-acre property, and obviously majority of it is that lovely escarpment. It's a beautiful location visually, and obviously eventually the processes have moved to building this distillery.
Yeah, I mean, how many people can say they've got, like, essentially a mountain in their backyard?
I know, it's very beautiful, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
And I've never seen my back boundary, which is unusual.
And what about your own background? Because obviously, woman, independent business, you know, you own this business all by yourself. How did you get into this?
Oh, well, what started out as wanting a caravan, in my previous life, I was a police officer, predominantly a police prosecutor for 23 years. So when I finished with that, I wanted to travel, actually, in a caravan. I was lucky enough to get the opportunity to get the property, and it's just gone from there. So I've fallen in love with the area.
So police prosecutor wants a caravan, ends up owning a distillery. Sure.
Yeah.
I always think of the Hunter Valley as being really just predominantly wineries. You've ended up in distilling.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, originally, obviously, the vineyard was here, and I would come up and maintain the vineyard. And I just actually Googled what can I do with the muscat grapes, because the vineyard out the front is muscat. And it came up that I could make brandy. So I'm like, all right, okay, here's something different. And then the processes went from there. So, and of course, I'm producing from wine. So I take unwanted wine from the different wineries, and I take that and I distill it here on this still here to get my base spirit. So if I put it into barrel after 2 years, it's called brandy, or I do different gin runs with that.
What I love about small producers like this one is the care behind everything they make. And in a region famous for wine, it's nice to discover the quieter stories that are happening just over the hill.
Well, I think you know why I love the XC90, but don't just take my word for it. I'm passing over to the people that have scrutinised this car the most. James Ward, Director of Content at drive.com.au, take it away.
Now, it may not be the youngest car in the 2026 Drive Car of the Year awards field, but the Volvo XC90 is absolutely worthy of its award-winning status, particularly in a luxury segment. The recent upgrades given to this car to allow the plug-in hybrid driveline give you performance and efficiency, refined suspension for even more comfort, as well as updates to the interior and technology, have taken an already class-leading luxury car and given it the final polish that it really needs to set itself apart from every other contender in this segment. 7 seats, safety, luxury, comfort and technology is everything the Volvo XC90 is about. And I'm thrilled to say that it has taken away the award for the 2026 Drive Car of the Year Best Luxury SUV, priced under $150,000. Now, of course, if there's anything more you want to know about the Volvo XC90 or the rest of the Drive Car of the Year awards field, head on over to drive.com.au.
One of my absolute favourite things about Volvo is its reputation for safety. Historically, it's been known as one of, if not the most safe car manufacturers in the world. And Volvo has pioneered some of the most innovative safety technology in cars in history. The 3-point seatbelt, for example, a Volvo invention, for goodness sake. So all of those other features, the good looks, the comfort of the cabin, all of those things are, of course, lovely to have. But safety is a non-negotiable. And the XC90's safety, well, there's not a question in my mind. It is the best of the best. That's why I love it.
Sometimes the best places on the road are the ones you didn't really expect. They sit quietly off a main road, a little removed from the rush of everyday life. And when you arrive, the first thing you notice is the stillness. That's exactly the feeling here at Settlers Rest. And oh my goodness, what a luxury stillness is here.
Emma, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule, because I know you've got something like 43 weddings this year or something to deal with, so quite a busy lady. But can you tell me a little bit about the history of this place?
Settlers Rest here, located in Howes Valley, 1,500 acres. The history before us, it was a private property. That does have some history, convict history behind it. And we seen a potential to bring it to life and make it a amazing wedding venue, a space where people could come and have celebrations, spend weekends with families and loved ones and stuff like that.
Did you have a vision in mind before you came in?
Yeah, so I definitely want it to feel like rustic ranch style, like you see in the US. And you know, a place that you could come and it was cozy in the winter and in the summer as well. Spaces that felt like, you know, really cozy. That was the push and approach behind the styling and the decor of the place.
The Putty Road is an iconic stretch of road for driving enthusiasts. Those undulations, the twists, the turns, it's very beautiful. It can be a little bit of a scary road to approach. Luckily, once again, the Volvo XC90 is completely comfortable in these conditions. Like I said, so many twists and turns, so many bends that sometimes are approached at quite fast speeds, but I never feel like the XC90 is out of control. Instead, I feel like I'm sort of easing into those bends. I feel like the XC90 is coddling me in a way and making me feel like I can handle any of this unexpected road and some of the challenging parts of it with total ease. I feel like a driving expert.
our journey finishes somewhere that feels quite fitting, actually. The Australiana Pioneer Village, a place dedicated to preserving the way life once looked across rural Australia.
Can you tell me a little bit about the history of the Pioneer Village?
Well, the village was started back in 1970 by a bloke called Bill McLaughlin. Unfortunately, in 1972, I think it was, he passed away. The family then tried to keep the village going, and then I think it got a bit too difficult for them, so then it was handed to the council, and the council ran it until about 2000, and then unfortunately they had to close. So the village was closed for 10 years, and then they wanted to try and sell it, and us being the friends of the Pioneer Village, well, that's who we are, we rallied out the front to try and keep the village going, and the council gave us a lease, and that was back in 2011 when we opened, and we opened on Australia Day, and they had 4,500 people turn up on the day, which was beyond all expectations.
Wow.
And we've been going ever since. So we're all volunteers that run the village, and everything we make goes back into the village to maintain it.
What a luxury it is to be able to do a road trip that's not about getting from A to B, but rather enjoying the unknown parts in between. When you're driving without expectation and without pressure, that's when you really get to appreciate the land that you're on and the people that shape it. And it's certainly not lost on me that I'm ending this journey in a place that honours the way the land was and the people that shaped it over 100 years ago. A time characterised by simplicity, innovation definitely, but a slower pace of life. And maybe that's what luxury is about these days. It's about enjoying the stillness, but still utilising the technology that makes our life easier rather than more complicated. And that's exactly why the XC90 had to be the car that I took on this road trip. This has been Drive TV. I'm Jessica Morris, and I'll see you next week.
Sam's touching me! No, I'm not! Yes, you are!
Welcome to Drive. How can I help you?
You want it? I got it right here. I got it right now. I got it right here, right now.
Welcome to Drive.
Right here. I got it.
Buy the right car right now at drive.com.au.